I want to have you on because like you read Absolute Wonder Woman
Yeah.
and you didn't like it
I didn't.
as much as I did, and I want to have a discussion about it, and I
Okay.
want to talk to these guys about it, and I want to shove Absolute Superman down your throat.
We're going to go on a tangent, aren't we? This will probably be a separate video. Let's put a pin in this.
Pin.
We'll come back to this later.
What did you say? Put a pin in
All in.
All in Absolute Wonder Woman.
Absolute Wonder Woman.
You liked it, didn't like it?
I didn't like it as much as Absolute Batman.
Agreed.
How did you feel about it? Paint me a word picture.
It felt incomplete because since Batman had come out very recently, it was Batman was more of a complete story, whereas Wonder Woman ends at the beginning of round 2, and I'm like, she should have defeated this thing.
I agree with you on that. And I will also add the caveat of, did Wonder Woman become a Power Ranger? Because she says Amazon all of a sudden gets a new costume, or is that costume just underneath her garb?
Is that what happened?
That's how I felt. That's how when I read it, I'm like, what the hell? So you have opinions about it, and it involves the color.
So
we talked about this on Monday.
I read it as a PDF first and thought it was almost as good as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
What I did as soon as Absolute Batman came out, and I read it again because it was so awesome, and it was even better in print.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read Absolute Wonder Woman, and it's, in my opinion, a dark, muddy mess compared to Absolute Batman, compared to Absolute Wonder Woman PDF. And that is what distracted me more, was because I went, this was all much clearer, and this looks like someone doesn't know how to color, or my computer is way off. And that caused me not to like it as much the second time, because I was distracted, because like there's that 2-page spread where you have to read across the way where she's growing up and she's like 2 and then 4 and 6, which I thought was brilliant.
I thought it was good too.
But was awful on a PDF to try and get the page to read. And then I got the book and I'm like, oh, this is how it was meant to be. And I'm like, I can't read it because it's all dark and...
Yeah. I think it was that in those panels in particular, I think being dark helped because they were in a cave. But they started out in a cave, got candles, got light, but it got lighter. But I agree, like the colors just look muddy.
I don't need. It's one thing I hate about modern comics. Like, I don't need you to put dark colors in a dark cave. The artist has drawn a cave. I get that. The thing in another book that you guys haven't seen yet is that there's an object in the foreground and there's superheroes in the background, and they're blurry because you're supposed to focus on the car. And I'm like, why would you do that? This is a comic.
It's not a camera.
Yeah, that guy drew Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And I love this guy's art, and you blurred it out on purpose because I'm supposed to focus on this car, and that is dumb, and I don't need you to do muddy colors.
I will say Batman had better coloring. I think it was crisper.
But see, you're comparing it to Batman. I was just comparing it to other Wonder Woman comics.
Which you've read none of. You've read some Wonder Woman. We talked about this. You didn't read it. You read Dead Earth.
I love Dead Earth.
I did too.
I read Dead Earth, and I read Jill Thompson, and was
Azzarello.
And one of you brought up Azzarello, and
I did. He might have done it.
I think you both separately did.
Yeah.
And I guess I did read it because I remember
it was New 52.
Yeah, and it was Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang, which is like, I will read this, but I can't remember it, which is telling you how good it is. So I'm comparing it to that. This is the only Wonder Woman comic since Dead Earth, and then since 1990 whatever, that I've wanted to read the next issue or even wanted to open. You've done your job, Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I will say I did enjoy the story for Absolute Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
it almost as intriguing as Absolute Batman because it's the whole quote unquote Elseworld take on it.
Blah.
Oh, you guys hate the word Elseworld?
My God, that was my one of my hatreds of DC All In when they're like the Elseworld. That's the best fucking
It's
name.
dumb and annoying.
I don't think you need to read Absolute Power or DC All In. He disagreed.
Yes. You don't have to read Absolute Power and All In to understand Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman. It just helps how we got there. In order to understand the happenings of the all-in Superman, Batman, Action Comics, Wonder Woman, Flash, the reason why everybody has powers now comes from Absolute Power.
Sure.
Yeah, but
So if you want to know how that happened,
but I just want to read Absolute Batman, and I don't.
then just read Absolute Batman. You don't have to, but it helps.
So far, I imagine
It's like an editor note.
by issue, if only those existed. I imagine by issue 6 of each of these series, it's gonna loop in Darkseid.
Oh yeah,
And at that point, it'll be like, oh, this is referencing the thing.
See, I was thinking that this took place after Darkseid had taken over,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and
but so far,
Darkseid's not a
in the
thing.
2 issues that we've read, no sign.
I've read 3 issues, and there's no spoilers.
I'm saying by issue 6,
I'm saying
The
they'll loop him in.
selling point, the sales point, I think, is that they're going to 6 issues. Here comes Darkseid. 12 issues, another event. Original
pretty
universe.
sure they said they weren't going to cross over for a while.
Oh, please. They always say that, but they'll wind up doing it just to boost sales.
You've sold out of the second print before the first print has come out. Insane.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it.
Well,
I
liked it.
I liked it. I didn't like Absolute Wonder Woman as much as Absolute Batman.
I agree.
Because Absolute Batman just takes his universe and just flips it on its edge and just like...
Doesn't Wonder Woman, though?
No, because you still have an Amazonian who's strong and things, but now she's got magical powers and a Power Ranger. I mean, I don't know. But
I think the problem is I haven't watched Power Rangers.
because I'm younger than you.
I don't know if she's developed enough because we got to see her growing up, and we got to see some of Bruce, but we got like personal stuff.
Are you complaining that they want you to continue reading the book?
No, I'm
They got you hooked though, and that was the goal.
Are you going to read issue 2
of
that
both? Yes.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to read first?
Absolute Batman.
Yeah. Like if they all came out on the same week, either I'm reading Batman first or I'm saving it for last.
Mm-hmm.
Depends what comes out that week.
When's Absolute Superman supposed to drop?
As of this recording, Absolute Superman comes out next week.
Okay.
And even though technically it's 4 weeks, Absolute Batman's not coming out.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wait, isn't there a fill-in artist? Aren't you mad about a fill-in artist?
I am.
Oh,
Issue
Issue 4.
4?
I don't know which
That's
Absolute
early.
Batman.
That's early.
And then some people are happy with the artist. I disagree, but that's a whole
one. Are you able to say who the artist is?
I think it's been announced. I just don't remember.
It's, I want to say Alvetta, but that's not even that person.
It'll be up there.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know.
So why did you... So speaking of All In,
It sucked. Absolute Power sucked.
I would say that Absolute Power actually lived up to the fact that it was an event.
I'm surprised that you read it.
It's really hard to get me to read a DC book. I'll admit that. I'm not a fan of DC.
You know, my favorite thing about you is that you're back to reading comics.
I know, right?
So
thank you, Daniel Warren Johnson.
So random.
And Robert Kirkman. It's all their fault.
The moon is falling on us.
Oh my god, this last issue was so good. I read it before we started recording. Oh. And it's not just because I'm like fanboying over Daniel Warren Johnson. Like, it's just really well written, really well drawn.
Did it affect you? No, how did you put it? I said it affected me because it's like parent stuff.
Right.
You're not a parent.
I'm not a parent. I have nieces and nephews, but that's
Like,
not the same. That is not a fair comparison, if you will.
but like it was.
If you hadn't primed me
Yeah.
before I read it, like it wouldn't have hit as hard. But like thinking of you while reading it, I'm like, oh fuck.
I can totally imagine why you're loving it. I can totally understand why you're loving it. I just think it's just a really intriguing story, which is very hard to come by these days.
I got a comic for you. It's called Thor.
Let's end there.
Oh God. Okay,
All right. Well,
we can end it.
that was another wonderful episode of Shockanaut Toy Reviews Useless Articulation, brought to you by the fact that they don't ship toys as fast as they used to, and you're going to get more of this next year because there's going to be a gigantic gap in G.I. Joe Classified.
Well, my Walt thanks you for that.
There's like going to be a 5 or 6 month gap of no G.I. Joe toys.
That's nuts.
What am I going to collect then?
We're not even reviewing G.I. Joe toys.
I know, and that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, check out SLV Vlog. Say you like Josh.
Oh yeah, if you want to know why I'm here, you go watch the previous video or whatever.